Hello, welcome back to the ministry, and today we are talking about you are covered in the midst of the storm. Now, I'm trying to figure out right now whether there's something I had a vision of, a thought to say, but I don't know what I should say on this video. I'm sorry about that while we talking, but God is in the middle of preparing you for your blessing. But while he's preparing you for your blessing, there may come points that look like they're anything but a blessing. As you see the vehicle that he used in the season that you're in break down, the situation break down, the scenario break down. What you're used to and comfortable in will start to break down. There will be a shift, and it won't be comfortable because things are moving. I already know there's some stuff that's being prepared to happen for me, and I'm a little bit uncomfortable because I'm like, how in the world am I going to get there, do that, and get this thing done? Oh my God. But I'm believing you that you're sending the messengers that are supposed to help me in this season so that I may be able to be there. For if I'm supposed to be there, I will be there. And you know what? I've been debating as to whether I was going to do this, but I said, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it after this video. You're going to get another video from me today because normally I only do 2. But I'm going to make sure that I do this, and I'm going to do a quick overview of it. It may only be about 5 minutes, but I think it's necessary that I do that. But basically, you start to see the things around you break down. When I was in this place before, literally this place, I was staying with my father about 6 years ago in between 2016 and 2017. Because I came in September of 2016 and I left in October 2017. So I stayed 13 months. I've been here again from August of last year, and it's almost the end of July. So we're coming up on the 1 year of being here. And just before I left that year, my dad was going through a bunch of stuff. His money started acting funny. He went through this. He went through another thing. He was irritated. He was doing a little bit too much. Then something happened in the building that caused the sprinklers to go off and ruin the walls. And they had to come in, take the walls out on the undercarriage and around the baseboards where the water settled in the walls. But the blessing was, for the issue that occurred, it happened above us. So when it happened, we were quick thinking that we moved everything just before we left the apartment, and Lord bless the scenario that the only thing that was affected was the walls. When other people lost furniture, they had water in their places all the way up to halfway up their couch. We didn't have that blessing, and we were directly under the problem. There's no reason our apartment should not have been hit, and hit thoroughly. But the Lord blessed that situation. But hey, it was a storm, wasn't it? And hell, it was right inside the apartment. Water coming down everywhere. But it was a blessing in the midst. They were able to redo the walls and everything got taken care of, but it caused a lot of things to come up. Insects and other problems. Even here, this second rotation of me being here, I noticed a lot of insects. And I was listening to Megan Michelle. She did a live, and she was talking about that just before her God-ordained spouse came into her life. And even it at least said the same thing, that the enemy would send bug infestations to annoy you just before the manifestation of certain things that were supposed to happen in your life. So it's part of the territory. Tiffany Montgomery did a release the word was somewhere early 2000, late 2019, where she said that you're going to see residue. And I've been seeing that. And residue represents, like, for instance, if you had a heavy infestation of bugs, now you're only seeing one or two, that's residue. You're seeing the residue of what was there. And the assignment, the attack, all that type of stuff has passed. It's just that you're seeing residue. I even killed 2 bugs last night. And it's just, the thing is coming, but you have to go through these elements. Even my father, he wasn't feeling well yesterday, and my dad don't get sick like that, but the past 2 days he's been not feeling well, and I can tell because he's quiet. He's never quiet like that. You can tell. I can tell he's uncomfortable. I can tell. But it's a shift, and I believe it's a spiritual shift that's happening to him and me. And with that, things are changing. There's being a transition, and because of the transition and things being prepared to move, that's why I know that it's a cusp of something shifting right now. Not only just because I know, because I was prophesied, and the time frame is right there, and all things are lining up. But the rain of blessings is coming, but there is a certain amount of things that had to break down. But see, this season is different from that season, and I'm going to tell you why. Because this season, God is in it in such a way that it's not going to be a repeat of what you saw before. It's not going to be that hectic confusion that you saw before. God is in it. And Dr. Jolyn Whitaker released about a week and a half ago, that what you're seeing now is not going to be a rain of confusion. You're just going to see the rain of blessings. So the rain of blessings is coming. But you got to still walk through the experience of what you are walking into. Is it comfortable? Not always. Not the way that you would assume it to be. And you feel in those moments, because what I think it has been is that I'm so used to now the type of warfare that I've been through and the seasons that I've gone through in the past 4 years, that I can recognize and either take it out, or I've recognized it and it just doesn't affect me like it once did. And I know immediately, okay, this is an attack, pray. Okay, this is a this, do this. Okay, this is, and I shut it down immediately. So it's not what it once was, which is a skill set that's necessary for where I'm going. Because I know where I'm going. God showed me visions of where I'm going, places I'm going to be, places I'm going to sit in, things I'm going to do. I was telling y'all in a previous video about the music industry and stuff like that he's shown me, and God showed me even more stuff on that, and I'm like, okay, God, I'm okay. Moses, I stutter, but okay, we gonna stutter and we gonna keep going. Okay. Okay. I've had witchcraft target me. I've had all kinds of stuff come after me because of where I'm going. Okay. All right. We gonna fight, and God's gonna send me the prayer warriors that are gonna be able to cover me, and I'm gonna do what my assignment is to do in this season, and things are gonna happen the way that they're supposed to happen. Because the rain of blessings is coming. It's just being prepared for it. And you have to go through growth. How much growth are you willing to go through? You're going to have to go through time. You're going to have to worship harder during those seasons because I am in a different place than I was before when I went through this. I know, okay, oh, I see what kind of attack that is. That's all right, I'm going to get you tonight. Okay, that's all right. Hold on one second. Walk into my prayer room, start praying like I'm supposed to. Come out, it's broke. You have to have that wisdom, that spiritual understanding that makes you be like, okay. I usually discern it, go get it. Discern it, take it out. It's like bugs. If you see a bug, I'm taking it out the second I see it. I don't sit there and wait. I'm going to wait for that thing. If I see you, you're going to die in that moment. That's what I do with all of my spiritual attacks. If I see you, you're going to die in this moment. Okay? It's like, that's why, it's like, the Lord has given me, like, because he knows that I love the show Buffy when I was growing up. It's like, I think that God used that as a training, because he keeps bringing the show back to me at appropriate time frames to speak into the very thing that I'm going through. I'm like, bring me back to that episode. I was like, okay, I get you, God. You talking about that. All right. I see you. I be seeing you. I see what you talking about. I see you. But God will give you wisdom. You will have to worship through it. You're going to have to run faster, but you're going to have to fast in the process of it. And you got to do the things that God needs you to do in the midst of it. Do not run away from it. We have the tendency, because what the enemy does is he sends a spirit of fear that we feel intense anxiety around this thing. But we have to pray against that spirit of anxiety and fear, because all fear is false evidence appearing real. If we let the fear sit on us, then doubt will come in. Doubt comes in. We start speaking out our mouth contrary to what God already told us, and then the enemy is winning. You can't be doing that. You got to realize what's happening when the anxiety comes in and nip it in the bud right then. Which also reminds me of what I told y'all yesterday. I don't know whether I'm going to show that clip on this station, this channel or not. But it was a clip that I recorded from the episode of the show I was talking about. It showed you that fear ain't nothing more than this size. But it creates an illusion that makes it way bigger than what it is. And what happened? All she had to do was step on it. It was done. It was this small, and she could take her foot. Does it not say in the word that the heel of Jesus will bruise the head of the serpent? It is his heel that will take them out. So, as it goes forward with that, people might even think that you're playing down or struggling when you're saying that you're okay in the midst of the chaos, because they don't see how God is blessing you in an invisible way. Sometimes your blessings look like chaos because it's meant to deter the ones that would actually be a hindrance to the thing in which you're supposed to be doing. It's supposed to look like a mess. It's supposed to look like an accident, because the ones that are not anointed to have their hands in it, that's when God will start to separate you from those people. That's when He'll start to reveal the people to you. That's when He'll start to reveal their energy, the type of people that they are, what's going on with them, what in the world is happening, all these kinds of things. He'll start to remove you from certain people. People you had around you for years will be gone. I have had friends And people I consider to be friends around me. And in this season, I ain't got nobody around me but my dad. That's it. I gotta be all cautious of that because he got some spirits about him too that I've been trying to pray off. But in the next season I'm going into, I'm not even gonna have him. But I will have somebody to cover me. I believe I'm getting freedom to say this. I had a dream about, I'll say it was about 6 months ago, of my God ordained spouse. In it, it was raining, and I was standing underneath an awning for a building in a place that I'd been to before. I was literally right around the corner from where I was living last year. And I saw my God ordained spouse. Lord, how deep you want me going in this? I don't want to get too revelatory. But I'll say this much. Because we're talking about covering. He was standing there, and I came out and linked my arm under his. He had on his raincoat. He turned, he looked at me, and winked. And then the umbrella went up, but a parachute covered us both. And I thought that the parachute was going to end up lifting the umbrella at the force that it went up. Because you know when a parachute goes up, it's almost it's more intense than when an umbrella goes up. Because when the air lifts the parachute, but it was literally meant to cover us. God is covering you in the midst of the blessing. And I believe that the parachute represented God's covering, while the umbrella was a representation of the covering over us, specifically. So it was almost 2 layers of covering. God's covering, and then the marriage being a covering for the both of us. But it was raining. So the blessings are going to be monumentous to a point that you don't just need a regular umbrella. You need a parachute, because that's how big the blessings are. It's so hard when you are pushing with all of your steam on fumes you're in the rain and it's your season of change, and you have gotten ran down, and you don't see your blessings. Nothing seems to have changed for the good. Then you see insufficient changes that were made. You're praying for financial windows to fall open, and you get $5 and an overdraft fee on an account that had $48 in it. Or you had $5 in your account and you get a $48 overdraft fee. Then people start coming around about you at the very thing that you've been looking for a blessing on. Oh, I hate this. They start coming at you about your marriage. Like, you're this age. You ever planning to get married and have kids? Or you don't seem like you want to do anything with your life. Are you planning to have children? Do you want a family? You can't stay here forever? Your finances? All your accounts shut down? Your credit cards taken out right when you got it together. You got it completely in order. I'm still mad about this. Last year, my credit I had gotten my credit to a point that I could actually get a credit card, and I was like, yes, I can get my business credit taken care of. I ran out of money, wasn't able to pay my credit card bill, wasn't able to do anything with my money, wasn't able to, I lost both my bank accounts that had dual accounts in it, so I lost 4 bank accounts and my credit card. All of them shut down. But thank God for making Michelle, because she released a word. She said, when you see that all things are shutting down, that means God's about to give you a new thing. All those things had to shut down because I'm going into a new season, and frankly, I might have actually had to change my name on those things. Now I don't have to change my name when I go into my new season. I'll just start with the new name. For God changes your name. Health. Not having all of the things. In this season that I've been, I haven't had, it's like the season I left, man, I was going to, it was this place called Fresh Co. I could go every morning and get me breakfast, and I was like, oh, this breakfast is so good. I had a smorgasbord platter, vegan sausage, vegan eggs, greens, and all of this wonderful stuff on the side. Blueberry pancakes, sweet potato hash browns. Oh, I was eating good. I came here. Just some eggs. If I can get me some vegan bacon, it's a blessing. If I can get me some vegan hot dogs, vegan anything, it's a blessing. And especially with the shortages they've been having here. What people been doing is when there was meat shortages, they were eating all the vegan food. So I go to the grocery store, all the vegan meats are gone. I'm like, well, you know what? I'm over here just about ready to cry. Because I'm like, vegan stuff. God, it was a blessing when I saw it's a church that gives food to my dad on the weekly, and when they give vegan food, vegan meats and stuff like that, blessing to Jesus, because I'm like, yes, I got my vegan meat. The other week they gave us bacon bits, and I had to look that up because they tasted like real meat so good. I was like, wait a minute, is this actual bacon bits? And like, no, it's vegan. I was like, oh my goodness, this tastes so good. I put it in my eggs. I'm about to eat my eggs when I get off this video. But you will get a drawback season, and you're like, God, what? But in my next season, where I'm going, with the people that I'm going to be with, I ain't going to ever have to worry about food. Food is not going to be my issue. I'll be able to get my diet straight back on track. Because right now, I got bones right here. I see bones. That comes from heavy fasting and not having enough vegan food to match my appetite when I come off of my fasts. But, yeah, but the Lord, He's blessing. He's a God of blessings, and the blessings cometh, and as it says in Psalms 23:5, He makes a table before you in the presence of your enemies. There are things that are coming. What was it I was listening to? Somebody's video I was listening to. I don't know whether it was Jolinda's morning or it was another young woman. I listen to about 5 or 7 people on a daily basis, for real. And they were talking about how in your season of blessings, God will position you where you'll be sitting there and be like, God, why didn't you just leave me where I was? Everything was good right there. And I was right where my blessings, everything should have been right there. I was in my promised land. I wasn't particularly in the land, but I was in the vicinity. You know, like when you got to cross over into that area. I had access to it. I was there every day. I'm like, because in my brain, I'm sitting there thinking, oh, I'm already here. God's going to bless me while I'm here. And then when I go back, I'm going to be looking like, look at the brand new her. And God was like, no, I'm going to send you back first. I'm sitting there looking as broke as I did before. I'm still over here looking like a train wreck. But God, when He prepares to bless you, He blesses you in the place of your sorrow. He will bring your blessing to you, and people will be sitting there looking at you like, wait, excuse me, what? With her? David. Dr. Jolene was talking about him this morning. When Jesse came, when Samuel came to bless David, he said to David, well, he said to Jesse, David's father, where's your sons? He said, oh, all of my sons are here. And he got all these strapping 8 men that looks like they should be in the fight and in the battle. And then he said, is this everybody? And he's like, yeah. He's like, is this everybody? He's like, there's the runty dude. Yeah, over there in the, out by the farm with the sheep and stuff. He's like, oh, could you go get him? That's the one we want. God is preparing to bless you in the midst of what looks like to everyone else, oh Lord, she ain't never gonna get her life together because she don't never go nowhere. She don't ever do nothing. She ain't. All she care about is looking at her phone, messing with tablets. She don't ever even get up and go nowhere. How she gonna be blessed with? She need to get a life. She need to get a job. She needs. They was complaining at me the other day. All you do is sit on that phone all day. Preparing to make millions. That's what I'm doing. Listen to me carefully. Preparing to make millions. God is preparing to bless us in the midst of the people that talked the worst trash about us our entire lives. Because he makes a table for you before and in the presence of your enemies. That's why I believe, it's funny, I had a dream of Dr. Jolene preparing a table and setting the place settings, and we were sitting there having a discussion. I was like, no. Dad can't mess up the table setting. And it was like, because Jolene had already set it up. And I was like, the table is being set in the presence of the people. Because what God is showing me is about to happen in my life. People's mouths are about to drop open because the who, the what, and the where I'm about to be, people are going to be scratching their heads. They are not going to understand it. Why? Because I don't talk about it. I don't. Joseph's story gave me enough warning. I ain't talking about that. You're going to see it when it happens. But when it happens, baby, you're going to be scratching your head trying to figure out, how the heck did this happen? How? I get confirmations on a daily basis. Oh, that's coming. It's about to happen. I stand, I pray, I do what I'm supposed to do. It's about to go down. For me. How much more do we have here? Oh, we already at the end. The blessing is on the other side. I was listening the other day to Justin Timberlake and Shaz's song, The Other Side. Beyonce has one too, but this is the one that makes sense. It talks about that the grass is greener, isn't always greener on the other side. It does not look as great as it sounds when God shows it to you. What if it wasn't how you saw it and you still had to struggle and it was different? And yeah, it was, you had the top people and then you were hated worse than you were expecting, and the clique mentality, and it was harder than you thought, and you had to deal with people and you had to fight, and then the piece that you were looking for was not there, and you got the penthouse, but when you got there you were living in rent control place and all of this kind of stuff. Some places are better after you finish the trial period. Not looking blessed, but all of the necessity that God has for you is certain, and in the midst of it you are fighting for the blessing, and he can trust you with it. But you must be a good steward of what you have so God can bless you with more, so you can handle it in the midst of your dry season before you end up in the palace season. It will be as if you dreamed it. God is preparing you to walk into those places, and he's about to rain down blessings, as according to Deuteronomy 28:2. The blessings shall come and overtake you. I forget what the other is. I think it's Isaiah. I'm not sure, don't quote me. It talks about blessings on blessings coming from the hills and the valleys. There will be blessings everywhere, and it will rain down upon you. Be prepared, because this is the season that God is about to show you the manifestation of all the things you've been praying for. My coach, who's also prophetic, let's see, about 2 years ago, it had been about 3 now, because it was right around the time that the pandemic had just started, and said to us, well, she said to me, she didn't release it the first time that she saw me. She said, I got a word for you, but I'm being told I can't say it now. But then the next time she said it, and I actually have audio of it, she said, God is storing up blessings for you. And God has always shown me, he showed me in a dream, I am about to richly reward you for all that you had to suffer through. I know my next season is going to be blessed. I know I'm going to get the house. I know I'm going to get the husband. I know I'm going to get the finances. I know it's coming. And I also know that there are kids coming. I know it's a ton of things that are being prepared to come into my life. It's going to be blessing on blessing. Blessing on the work of my hands. Blessing on my music. Blessing on everything I put my hands to. And I'm going to have the covering of my spouse. And we're going to have the covering of God in the midst of it. But as long as we remain steadfast and unmovable, it's going to be what it's going to be. But it's going to be as if we dreamed it. Because the blessings that are about to roll into both of our lives, because I pray for that man very often. I may not be with him, but I pray for him very often. And I'm making sure I'm covering every area of his life. Because I know that if he's getting blessed, when I come into the situation, automatic, the blessings are going to hit him, and he's going to share them with me irregardless, because I'm his wife. And he's a very kind, very gentle, very sharing type person. So the blessings are en route. Be prepared. And they're going to rain down, but they're going to be rain of blessings. So I'm going to say this. This is Taj McCameron for the ministry. Until next time, much love, faith, peace, and blessings. Bye-bye.